Hey, it's Andy Giannis here with the Potsdam Jamma YouTube channel, and we are here to discuss the number one seed in the Midwest region, the Houston Cougars, who went 31-3 throughout the entire 2022-23 regular season. Now, if you're clicking this video, you're probably asking to see what can I learn about the Houston Cougars. Well, the number one thing when it comes to them, and you're going to hear them reiterate this a lot throughout their NCAA tournament run, is that everything they do revolves around their culture. But what exactly is the Houston Cougars culture? Well, there's three pillars the Houston Cougars head coach Kelvin Sampson always preaches to his team, and that comes to rebounding, defense, and taking care of the ball. Those three areas are what the Houston Cougars emphasize when it comes to their style of play. They're going to be looking to crash every single board, especially when it comes to the offensive rebound glass. The Houston Cougars were one of the top teams in the entire country when it came to offensive rebounding. Now, when you look at Houston, they don't care about the total number of offensive rebounds they get. They care about rebounding percentage. And what do I mean by that? I mean that, say, in a game, they miss 20 shots. 20 shots. Houston Cougars' goal is to get a rebound on 10 of those missed shots. And if they're rebounding 50% of their misses, that is what head coach Kelvin Sampson feels like they had a good offensive rebounding performance. That's what he looks for. Now, when it comes to their defense, the Houston Cougars are one of the best defensive teams in the country. When it comes to Houston, they have, for almost the entire season, they were atop the college basketball world when it came to fewest points allowed per game. And it doesn't matter what kind of hot offense they ran into. When you're going to play against the Houston Cougars, you are expected to be in a dogfight. They're not going to let you be comfortable. They're going to try to out-physical you. They're going to try to really impose their will on you throughout the course of the game, and it goes back to that rebounding mindset. Now, when it comes to turnovers, they are very efficient when it comes to taking care of the ball, and a lot of that is because of Jamal Shead, their junior point guard, who has really continued to improve from what he showed last season when he was kind of thrust into the position to be a starter after Houston lost Marcus Sasser and Tremont Mark a year ago. Now, this year, he's been able to be the lead point guard and really be the head of the snake when it comes to the Houston Cougars. I did mention Marcus Sasser. Now, obviously, a lot of questions are going to be on Sasser in terms of his potential health. We're not exactly sure yet how much of that groin injury could linger into the NCAA tournament. After the American Athletic Conference Championship game, Marcus Sasser told reporters that he expects to be 100% for Thursday, their first round matchup against Northern Kentucky. That's what Sasser said. That's still yet to be determined whether he exactly will be ready to go for that matchup. Now, when it comes to Houston, Marcus Sasser was their leading scorer. He was really the player that adds an extra layer to this team just because of how versatile he is. He can hit threes, he can dish out, he can cut, he can do just about anything, and his signature moves, really, the Euro step has become his go-to move, especially when it comes in fast break opportunities this season, but also being able to catch transition three-pointers. It's something that head coach Kelvin Sampson said earlier in the year, that he has grown to hunt down threes. And what do I mean by transition three-pointers? It's kind of what it sounds like. When Houston gets a rebound, they're pushing the pace. Jamal Shead is usually the one that's leading the charge for Houston, while Marcus Sasser is usually right behind them, and they just have an knack of being able to find each other, and Sasser can pull up for a three-pointer and hit them on a consistent basis, and that really adds an extra layer of versatility. Now, when it comes to Houston, all eyes were on freshman forward Jairus Walker heading into the season because of how highly rated he was coming out of high school. Jairus Walker has all the physical gifts to be a generational talent in the NBA. Now, for the Houston Cougars, he has shown it throughout the season why he has been so highly rated and really why he has that potential. He has the body size, he has the weight, and he has the versatility, something that his teammates have mentioned throughout the season is really, for how tall he is and how nimble he is, he has all the moves as a guard with the body of a forward, and he really adds that extra layer of versatility to Houston. Now, one of the good things that he has improved on throughout the course of the season, one, he's gotten more comfortable with being able to be a spot-up shooter on wide-open makes that his teammates have been able to find him, but also he has grown much more of a consistent rebounder throughout the course of the season, which it's no surprise when you play for a Kelvin Sampson team, that is one of the things that they enforce and they emphasize. So Walker has grown in that department, and really on any given night he could be a player that goes out and can get you 20, 25 points, but now he's starting to do a lot of the other things that impact winning. Now when it comes to the Houston Cougars forwards, Jawan Roberts, who won the American Athletic Conference Most Improved Player of the Year, has really been a star for Houston. He's been consistent all year long when it comes to rebound. He's going to give you at least 5 to 10 rebounds every night, and in the American Athletic Conference Championship game against Memphis, he set a new career high with 20 rebounds. 10 of those were offensive rebounds. So that just goes to show how much of a threat he is both on the boards, but he's also a bit of a scoring threat now in Houston's quarterfinals game in the American Athletic Conference Championship Tournament. He struggled from the field. The following game in the semifinals, Kelvin Sampson made sure that they went to Jawan Roberts early just to get him comfortable, and he is an offensive threat, and oftentimes he tends to be the first Cougar that gets the points on the board for Houston. Now, when you look at Tremont Mark, he very well could be the X factor for this Houston Cougars team. He can do a little bit of everything when it comes to that third guard position. He can score his favorite mid-range jumper. Well, his favorite area on the court is the mid-range jumper. He can pull up, he can attack the basket, he can draw fouls, and he has grown as a playmaker, but really, he has become Houston's best rebounding guard over the course of the season. Similar to Jawan Roberts, it seems like any given night he'll get somewhere between 5 to 10 rebounds, and whenever he gets it going offensively, he is really, really hard to stop, and it just makes Houston much more difficult to defend. Now, when you look at the bench, Reggie Chaney, who once again, he won the 6th Man of the Year in the American Athletic Conference, he is Kelvin Sampson's security blanket. That's what the phrase he's used in regarding to his big man when Houston's struggling to out the gates. Maybe they're not able to get rebounds, maybe they're giving up too many points early. Reggie Chaney is going to be the first player off the bench to go in and kind of calm things down for Houston. And again, he brings that toughness to the table. He can defend, he can rebound, he does all the things that Kelvin Sampson likes in a player. And when you look at the guards, Emmanuel Sharp, the redshirt freshman who joined the program in January of last year and has really had his moments. He is a microwave three-point shooter. When he has it going, he has the ability to space the floor for Houston, and his jumper is just one motion. It is going to be the same motion every single time for the Houston Cougars, and it's really amazing to see for Houston when you look at his ability to be able to be that strong three-point shooter. Now, when you look at overall the other freshman guard in Terrence Arsenault, who has been the starter. He was the starter in the American Athletic Conference Tournament Championship game for Houston this season. He's someone that has shown that he can score. He seems to be bit hesitant on his shot, but when you look at Jamal Shead, you look at Marcus Sasser, when you look at Jawan Roberts, they encourage him. They want him to be confident in his abilities. Jamal Shead's message to the younger players ahead of this NCAA tournament run, just be yourself. You're good is good enough. So it's going to be interesting to see Houston in the tournament. They have all the skill sets to be able to make a deep run. Now, one of the things that has given them issues throughout the course of the season is guard play. When you look at Alabama, now obviously they had Brandon Miller as well, but Brandon Miller didn't necessarily have his greatest game against Houston. But when you look at Kendrick Davis with Memphis, when you look at Damian Dunn with Temple, the 3 games that Houston lost, a lot of it had to do with guard play, and kind of the areas that Kelvin Sampson had reiterated after those losses is really at times Houston's struggles to guard players off the dribble, especially when it comes to drives and forcing them to get on rotations. That's something to watch, especially if Marcus Sasser is not able to go for the first or maybe second round games in the NCAA tournament, or with foul trouble. That could be one area of weakness. When it comes to Houston, they're the number 1 seed in the Midwest region. Obviously, a lot of people from a fan perspective, the Final Four, it's going to be in Houston. Don't tell that to Kelvin Sampson. Don't tell that to the players. They're going to take it on a game-by-game basis. They know that there are no guarantees in March. So again, Houston will begin their NCAA tournament run against Northern Kentucky, and all their focus is on Northern Kentucky. They know that they are the Horizon League champions. They're going to focus on what they do well and try to... There is no tomorrow. It's all on Northern Kentucky before they even think of looking ahead at their second-round opponent. That's a bit of a breakdown on the Houston Cougars. I hope you enjoyed this video. Once again, my name is Andy Yanez. Please be sure to hit like and subscribe on the Pod Slam Pajama YouTube channel. We're on the road to 1,000 subs. And stay tuned for in-depth NCAA tournament coverage here on the Pod Slam Pajama YouTube channel.